Rebecca Rochon, founder of Pivot and Pilot Creative, is an expert in product development, branding, positioning, and marketing. She works with clients to determine their key value propositions, define their unique X factor, and develop a lifestyle around their brand to inform their marketing strategy.
She absolutely loves working with the often dreaded creative types and millennials. If you want to make her smile, take her to an art gallery, theater, or put her in front of a crowd. Glow Radio is a podcast for sassy entrepreneurs who are in the process of quitting their much-hated day job to work for themselves full-time.
You can expect weekly conversations with unapologetic creatives, business owners, and influencers.
We discuss tips on how to reach your goals, manage your time, and keep your sanity while being a major boss babe.
We're Jacqueline and Clara, your favorite hype women who will cheer you on and push you to create the life that you want. We're business strategists, career and life mentors, and wellness advocates. Hit that subscribe button and follow us on IG at Glow Radio Co. Stay sassy, babes. All right, welcome to another episode. Welcome to Glow Radio. Today we have our amazing guest, Rebecca from Pivot and Pilot. We're super excited to interview her today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started Pivot and Pilot?
Yeah, so my background was actually in animation, but I have been friends with my business partner Alejandro since Emily Carr at university, and he was in the design program, and we ended up collaborating actually on a couple projects like on the side of our gigs that we were in. Like I was working in animation, and then he was actually working in design at the time. So we worked on a couple projects on the side, and I just got really inspired, and I felt like we had a really good synergy and that we had a lot of the same goals in terms of like our impact that we wanted to make on like the Vancouver community. And so we actually then created Pivot and Pilot from there. And we started to think like, okay, like we started in my house actually, and then we built it up gradually over time and hired our staff, and that's kind of how it came to be. Yeah.
Awesome. So how long have you guys been open now?
It's been 4.5 years, a little bit over 4.5 now. Yeah. So we're getting into that year 5, and I hear great things about year 5. Yeah. But it's like a hard grind until we get there, right? So many different changes and adaptations, but yeah, it's been a fun journey so far in the 4.5 years.
Yeah, cool. I bet.
Yeah.
So what sets your agency apart from other creative agencies?
So we're actually really product focused. So we like to build, and that's something that we've recently veered into, but like we're focusing on building packaging designs, helping products through their retail strategy, their social and e-commerce strategy, their digital marketing. So helping them create like video promotions and campaigns and photo ads and things like that. So that's one thing that sets us apart, but I think we're very, very much like creative focused. And so with strategy behind that, obviously, but I think that we like to have a pulse on like how the business is doing as a whole in order to create like an exciting campaign that will help them reach those business goals. So I feel like we're very integrated into their strategy overall, and can make like creative, exciting decisions from there. But
I do see a lot of creativity on the website. You do offer like a lot of different, I guess, services and packages.
Yeah.
Did you start off with all those ideas, or was it like when you kind of eventually hired more staff, people could offer more of like different types of packaging? Or
Yeah. So like for me personally, I seriously couldn't do anything that we provide. Like myself, like I'm kind of like, how am I useful to this company? I have my role, but I just think like for sure it's 100% like with hiring people that are really specialized in what they do. Like that's really been a key part of like my business strategy as well. Like I think my role is always like, how can I help serve my team? How can I make my team better? And what kind of projects can I go after and get put in front of them that help like serve their goals as well, and like kind of what lights them up. So that's kind of how we veered into that product marketing strategy, and how we and how I feel like we've built our services out as well. It's like what really lights us up, and then whenever we find that something we're not excelling at, so for examples, like for things like web development, we're great with website design, but with web development we actually work with another team. Or for videography, like we're great with coming up with like the creative campaign, the idea behind it, but when it comes to production, like if we want, like, because now videos have to be, and campaigns have to be competing with like Lululemon or what you'd expect on television as a kid, right? Yeah. Like nobody's going to be paying attention to something that looks mediocre. So we have to put specialists in place, right? So we hire, you know, a full video team, right? And we coordinate with them. But like that's kind of how we've built out our services. So it's not like me doing it all at all. It's like specialized members of our teams focusing on things and coordinating with even more different studios as well that are specialized. So that kind of gives you an idea of how can such like a small boutique agency like do offer so many services. It's really a team effort, and we're really there to consult and drive the creative side of the business, and helping them with their strategy that way.
That makes sense. Yeah. How many employees do you have in-house?
In-house full-time is 6. So again, like very boutique. But then, and then we have like our set of subcontractors, and then from there, you know, other teams as well. So that's how it works.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the name Pivot and Pilot?
People always ask us, like, who's Pivot? Who's Pilot? We always get that question. Yeah. But really, we came up with it because it just means that we're pivoting your ideas, or like giving you a new angle and then guiding you through it. So it's like pilot, or launching it too. Like either definition works, but it's kind of like pivot and pilot. So like let's do something different and launch it and make it happen, right? So I
like that.
Yeah,
it's a thinker. But once you get it, you're like, okay.
Oh, and then also, you can't get a domain anymore that's one word, so we have to Really? So like pivot and pilot.com.
There's so many websites.
There's just so many domains now. It's so hard. Unless we wanted to pay like, you know, $50,000 or something. We could never be like Pivot Creative, you know, like there's so many out there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if you want a .com anyway.
Yeah, that's so
if
true.
we wanted to be like .design, or those are coming up now. It's kind of fun. But
I don't know. I think I'm a stickler. I'm a diehard for the .com.
No.
I feel like yours is not a website unless it's a .com.
So people are gonna, when we go, it's like a huge part of the naming process. When we like, if we get a fresh brand and we help them name their product or whatever, it's really, really you have to get really creative now. So I think like .com will be slowly fading out, just because like I don't know how many brands can be just like, you know, a sentence long, you know, or whatever. But it's happened though. Some brands do get like we do find .coms all the time for our businesses, but it's like a huge part of the decision making process, and I feel like in like 10 years it's just like not going to be possible.
There's too many websites,
or we're gonna have to pay like a huge fine or something for like if you don't use the domain or something like that.
True.
But domains are a whole business. They're like gambling. Like people like invest in them. Like people like buy
and then they sell it for like $10,000.
It's a whole business. It's surprising.
What do you think is the whatever coming up, like .net, .org,
No, like I think there's like specific ones, so it'll be like .design or like .agency or things like that.
Okay.
Or .law. Like
that's true. I've never seen those.
So those are coming out. Those are kind of like the new thing, and I think right now people are trying it with like .com, and then they have like .shop or something like that. So like they still have their .com, but they're like extending it from there. But I think soon we'll start to see like that be just the normal.
Okay, we've got to grab .podcast. .radio.
.girls. Like I don't know what exists.
Yeah. We'll have to get one.
Yeah.
So I do see that you have run quite a few pop-ups.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just wanted to know, what would be the process for someone who wants to do like a pop-up or like a panelist event?
Oh, yeah. Oh, like an event. Yeah. So we did do a pop-up for clients.
Oh, okay.
But then for us, we do host quarterly pivot and pilot conversations, and we do that because we have I have so many cool friends. I have so many cool friends, and I feel like when we only on our social and stuff like that, we're only able to show off our clients' work a lot of the time. So I think that it's an opportunity for us to like showcase the cool people in the community and also learn a lot. So like we'll do things focused on, like one of them was launching your business with Kickstarter, and we don't really know much about Kickstarter, so it was an opportunity for us to learn a lot too and connect with like these people have raised like $1 million to make their launch their businesses on Kickstarter. So it was a stellar panel and a really great time. And then the other one was about brick and mortar versus e-commerce. Yeah. And so it's just, that's kind of why we facilitate that. And we think it's like, it's always great to get, get more people in the community involved. It's sort of like, at a certain point when you're in a business, you're kind of you're like, okay, like we're in survival, like chug along, like gotta keep getting the business going. But then I feel like we're at a point now where we can start to like have fun, and like we're very passionate about what we do. So it's really fun to like have an event like that just cause, we can, and like start to have a voice in the design community. So that's something that we're doing there. But then when it comes to pop-ups, so pop-ups are a little different, and we did a pop-up for a client called Soul Sugar, which was a cotton candy company a couple of years ago. And we did that to test their new packaging. So sometimes we do that internally. So it's more of like a focus group is what it's called. And we'll do like test 2 different packaging options because packaging is a huge part of product marketing. And it adds to a lot of the value inside the product. But we'll show it to like people in their target demographic and invite them in. Soul Sugar was like a fun launch party in a way. It was like a brand launch party and a little bit of like, oh, like what do you think about this packaging? Like give us some feedback. So it was a bit of a hybrid of that. Yeah. But I think when it comes to it's an angle of a retail strategy. So when it comes to retail and product marketing in retail versus e-commerce, there's a few different options. Like you can go boutique and sell through other boutique stores. You can have your own location. Yeah. Or you can have pop-ups now. So it's something that we've been seeing. Like I've been really fascinated by the huge explosion of success that like Kylie Jenner had, for example, with Kylie Cosmetics, or even Glossier, lots of other brands who are online, and then they do these big exciting pop-ups, right? And they do them for a short period of time, and then that way they just like sell out. But it's also giving people like an experience, which is called like experiential marketing, which is really, really on the rise. People are wanting to like connect within their communities and things like that. So that's what that was about. Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
There's like so many different, like retail's shifted, or product marketing's shifted so much with online, and then I feel like it's gone so far online that now it's like, how do we kind of like bring that retail experience back a little bit, or like have like a community event, or like how do we build more excitement around it? So it's really interesting. It's a fascinating space to work in because it's so fast. Like there's so many different things happening, and people are so inventive, right? It's fun because it's very inventive.
Because I like that you don't really know what to expect at a pop-up. It could because it's not always just a display of things. Here you go, buy your things. Like, it could be like a guest meeting, or like there might be a special person that shows up that day or something. So
totally. I went to LA recently, and I saw this like huge lineup for this store. Can't remember which celebrity it was that owned it. It may have been,
was it Chance the Rapper?
Maybe.
I feel like he might have had something.
For what?
But it was like
clothes.
It was like a clothing store, and it was like one item in each corner, and there's a huge lineup, and like I didn't end up going in, but people were actually like, they had their bags, and like they would take pictures outside the store, like posing with it and stuff like that to like share it on Instagram. So that is also part of it, right? It's like almost like this rise of the influencer, and like, or like that idea of like, basically now branding has shifted from a place where it's like or like people aren't buying your product because it's high quality. They're buying your product because they feel like they're of a higher quality by buying it. So it's like you can really see that now in pop-ups. Like when I walked by that, I was like, oh, that's hilarious because like some guy even like they had one bag and they each took turns with it.
Oh
and like
my
they probably
God.
bought like socks.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's just like,
so
but like that's
expensive.
effortless promotion.
Yeah.
It's like that's that's what the brand wants. They want that like hype. They want that experiential marketing that then people can be proud of what they're buying, share it on social, and that's like a whole campaign, right? So that's kind of those are some of the trends that we're seeing, but it's just so different now, like compared to what used to be. Like flyers aren't relevant, but like you could totally make a flyer cool. Like I don't know, there's just like there's no rules anymore.
Oh, that's so true. So how did you make most of your connections in the industry? Like did you do a lot of networking?
Yeah, so I actually I love networking and I'm a huge fan of it, and I think that networking is such like a weird word. It's just talking to people and being friendly to them. And I think what really changed for me was in the first year I was sort of selling to everyone in front of me. I was like, hey, do you need a brand? Hey, do you need a logo? And it worked a little, but we could only get so far, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it's like dating or something. Like you can't really like, it's hard to like go up to people and be like me, like pick me, So it wasn't, then I started to like connect with more people and just like being myself and having normal conversations and like not even really, like people will ask you what you do, but then I was just like, let's just have normal conversations. And I found that like kind of a light bulb went off when I started to get referrals a lot of the time from like my friends that are in kind of aligned industries but their clients really needed us, to help, and she needed us or they needed us to be able to serve their client better. And so that was much more useful. And so now I just kind of like try to connect with people, let them know what I do. And then over time, I've created like a network of people that not only like I connect with others, but like that are connecting me with all sorts of like potential clients that are already, if they're already working with them, then they're probably a good fit for us. So it's like a way better lead. It's a warmer lead. And they're saying, hey, use these guys. Cause like, for example, like a PR company, they're going to be doing all of this PR work, trying to get their client into the papers. And then they're like, hey, like I'm doing all this work and they're going to a shitty website. And it's like not, and we're doing all, or like a social media marketing agency where they're like, all they're doing is like, is trying to convey a story, and they're just like, we can't, like, we don't have a structure in place or a story in place for this brand, and like we don't have a visual hierarchy or like look that's working out. So we're just trying our best, right? And but we'd love to like bring you guys in to clarify their brand and their vision and their X factor and like help us all align. So again, it's like, just like I was saying before, like there's a lot going on of like specialized smaller boutique businesses leveraging like each other. And so that network is basically like we all feed each other, right? So like the video agency we'll be like, bring a client to them, they'll bring a client to us because they're like, oh, we're not branding experts, like obviously we are doing videos all the time. So it's just like, that's I think really what's pushed us to where we are now. I think I could do a lot more with like outbound sales, but like another thing is talks. Like whenever I do a talk or something like this, like you get more visibility, and so that's something else that I'd recommend, I guess, when it comes to networking.
Definitely. So I also wanted to know, obviously, when you do marketing, what did you find, what kind of, I guess, marketing platform or strategy did you find was most successful for your business?
For us, it's in person, like networking, talks, podcasts, things like that. I think that's the most successful for us. I think being active on social is key. We need to take a note from ourselves for that one. But like being active on social media is really nice. Like I do post stories every so often. I think it's just like nice to connect with people. LinkedIn is good because it's really kind of feels like an extension of in-person marketing. But really like a lot of business also comes from my personal Instagram too. And it's like just from, again, those people that are, I feel aligned with, and then they just like ask me. Sometimes it's random too. Like I'll just be like at karaoke or something, and they'll be like, ha ha ha, how are you? Like, oh, we should get coffee. And then we have a coffee discussion and turns into something. So I don't know. It's not really like, I think we like to look at marketing not in a way of like, what's the best platform or the best trend or whatever, but what's working for you and how can we like make that even more of like a sleek conversion. So like, if you're selling like, but actually when it comes to like online marketing and stuff, I could say something like videos for sure are much more influential in ads than just images.
Okay.
So like things like that actually, now that you say that, are more successful, and we know that. Other tactics we've used are like creating like a full-blown campaign or promotion, and that doesn't necessarily need to be a sale, but like having an angle or an idea behind like a product. So like when it comes to our client, for us, that's kind of more of what I was talking about for us, like the LinkedIn and stuff like that. But when it comes to our clients, it's like definitely putting together a full strategy campaign. So if it's like mapping out your year and being like, Mother's Day is huge for us, it's always been huge for us, let's make sure we ramp up something for Mother's Day, right? Or like, okay, we only have so many resources this year, let's do like 3 sales. Or like, oh, we can like go crazy this year, like let's make sure that because our brand is a high quality product, like really top price point, let's make sure that we're not diluting the brand by putting sales on all the time. So what's your sales strategy look like? So that's something that's really successful, is to like pre-plan and get ready to do like full-blown campaigns, rather than just being like on Mother's Day being like, oh shit, and then just like getting, you know, a picture of a mom or something and putting it up.
Like
it's
flowers.
Like yeah. So like think about, so recently we worked with a company called 10 Swatches on building their Mother's Day campaign. And we actually went through quite a bit of like a branding exercise with them as well to get there. But we wanted to focus on, because it's a watch, it's a wooden watch, and they're locally made, they're sustainable. It's all about, but all those things are great. But at the end of the day, it's like a watch is a old school kind of way of keeping time. It's like an old school piece of technology, and right now I feel like we're like, even when I sit with my parents, I'm like, they're on their phones, right? We're like, we're all on our phones. And so we came up with, it's called 10 Swatches, so we came up with this campaign called Live in the Present and then Tense. So it's like present tense, and then turning off technology and spending time with your family, and having the watch be like a nice gift to give, because it still keeps you like focused and in the moment. It's not a disruptive piece of technology. So we wanted to play with that idea, and so we did a series of campaigns for Mother's and Father's Day actually to around that idea, and having like the kids and the parents in different scenarios where like the mother was distracted and then turned off, you know, her computer, her piece of technology, and spent time with her kids. So like thinking, the thing is, there's no like, oh, like what's the best platform or the best trick, but I think like the best strategy is to always like think of the core values in the brand, think of a creative, I think that's what we bring to the table, is like thinking of a creative, different way of approaching something that stands out in the market. Like, how can we make you stand out? How can we think of like a different way to do like a Mother's Day campaign? How can we like we're tapping into an aspiration there. How can you tap into an aspiration? Like the aspiration to have a family that's like all focused on each other over like the dinner table, or that kind of thing. So we're trying to portray the brand in the best way throughout the year, and like planning ahead for different promotions throughout the year, and just like having a full pulse on the business as a whole, like approaching it that way, I think is a more authentic and successful way to approach it than being like we don't come up to a brand and go like, hey, like Facebook ads are in, they're hip and trendy, synergy. Like, you know, like we got to do this. Like we're you know what we're doing. Blah blah blah. Buzzword. Like that's really not what we're like. We're really about like how can we make your brand stand out in the market, and like how
the rest will follow.
That was a long answer.
That was very in depth. I feel like our audience would be very grateful. They can kind of get their gears rolling a little bit.
If they don't fall asleep.
If you're enjoying this episode so far, please comment Glow Up on YouTube and leave us a review on iTunes.
Give us 5 stars or we will find you.
We will.
No, it'll be great.
Leave a comment below if you fell asleep.
It'll be like a mash.
So I saw that your company is in like 3 cities. Vancouver, Toronto, San Diego.
Yeah.
How did that happen, or how do you expand to those cities?
So we're kind of like remote offices
Okay.
in each of those areas, and like subcontractors in each of those areas. Like we're fully equipped in each of those areas, but our main team is in Vancouver. But like I go to Toronto every quarter and check up on our clients there and make sure that I'm like serving them the best way we can, and have like facilitate our subcontractors there as well. And then in San Diego, I think I go to like LA area maybe like twice a year, and we have less clients there, but I think like that's an area that I really enjoy, because people in LA are so different. Like they're so like go.
Yeah.
Like it's so much fast. So Toronto compared to Vancouver, for sure. Like in Vancouver, people take their time. It's actually a wonderful place to live. But in terms of business, it can be kind of slow.
Yeah, totally.
We're too chill.
Or too chill. Yeah. And then in Toronto, it's much more like communicative, fast, like, you know, do it or not, or like this works or doesn't, and why, and upfront. And so that's really nice. But then in LA, it's like even more. It's like people are even more. I feel like it's like the American dream or something that like makes people just go like, yes, like let's do this. And so it's kind of fun. But yeah, just different types of people. Like I love Vancouver people too. It's it's just different, right? But so that's kind of where that's at. I do think I have goals to actually have offices there. But I think they would be small teams. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite parts of being an entrepreneur?
I think what I really like and why I do this, I think, is because I like being able to work with the people that I actually like. And I like showing up to an office where everybody is happy and where I like everyone there, you know, like I can kind of have control over like, you're not fitting like our values right now, like this isn't really the right fit for you, or like bringing in someone who's like I recently actually hired our new project manager, and she's been killing it, and I recently hired her, and I really looked up to her in school, like in Emily Carr. She's a really talented painter.
Wow.
And so I was like, I don't know, like those are moments that I find really rewarding, is being like, she was like really excited to work with me, right? And I was like, oh my god, like I looked up to you so much like in school and stuff. So like, I don't know, I like being around people that inspire me, and I like hiring people that are better than me at what they do, and like being able to kind of I just like my whole job, I feel like I did the test recently of like, or not a test, I looked online of like different types of CEOs or whatever, and I definitely am 100% like the people person. Like I'm very like that's and it's kind of why I did it in the first place. And then another thing that I like to that I like about it is the ability to work with like those like work with the clients that are pick the clients that I like to work with. And I'd say it's really exciting to think of a business from like a higher level strategy, and be like, how, you know, which direction are we going in now, or like reflecting on like the journey. And that's really exciting and rewarding to me too, like being able to work, like build it to serve whatever kind of lifestyle you want. Like you really can, and it's really, I mean, it's very hard and you can't get there right away, but it's with patience and like resilience and a lot of effort, like you can really start to step back and like see what you've created, and that's a really rewarding feeling for me. So those are, I guess, my favorite parts. I don't know. It's a hard question. It's almost like I don't really think about what my life would be otherwise. So sometimes it's
So what were some of the things that you had to overcome as an entrepreneur?
I think that at the beginning, it's really hard to separate your personal life from your work life, and kind of like turn off the stress of work. So when we first started, I was in my own house, like we were both working in my own house, and it was way too hard to like separate the two. And I think once we made that move after the first year into a co-working space, that's when I really felt I was able to like use that walk to and from work to shut it off and you know, go back into my go into personal life mode. And so that was a skill for sure, because it can get if you're not taking breaks, like I found that if you don't take breaks, or at least for me, if I don't take breaks, because I'm a very like extroverted person, I don't really have the best creative ideas. So like I can't really like think of take a step back and like think of the business as a whole. Like how it's so funny to think that like doing like a retreat on the weekend or something and like going away, I get some of my best ideas there, and then I go back and I feel like, oh, okay, cool, like I got some perspective. So that was something that I definitely had to overcome. And I think definitely like financial awareness too. Like that's something that I think I didn't really know the full extent of like how I knew it would be a lot of like stuff, but like being on hold with the CRA for hours, or like dealing with credit cards and like the the banks, and then like dealing with like accounting and starting to like plan for taxes, and just like every Christmas is when our year end is, so like when our taxes are due, so I'm always like writing a check at Christmas to the government, just like it's a very like so sad, but just like take it. But it's that's something too, like getting on top of accounting, like that was a real struggle for me at the beginning. Like I wasn't used to it, but I also didn't like hire an the right accountant at the beginning, and so like I've been through so many accountants just trying to like figure it out. I'm finally with like a good team now, but it's that's something that I definitely had to learn. And then I think following your gut, so we often hired the wrong clients, or I guess hired the wrong clients is a weird way to put it, but I think that's a good way to think about it. I think it's like that's not typically how people say it, but I heard that somewhere, and now I say it all the time. Like it's good to think about hiring your client, like you're giving them so much, and don't forget that, and you are providing so much value. And like obviously, because we're so passionate, like we're going to give like 200% to each client. So if they're like not deserving of that, I think we kind of just, in the beginning, you're so hungry, and you're like, we have to get money on the table and food on the table, so like you start to like not listen to your gut. But then in the end, like if you just didn't work with that draining client that in the end of the day like just haggles you the whole time and like doesn't treat you properly and isn't grateful and makes you stressed out and makes you sad, you could be using that time to be doing like working on promotions for yourself. You could be like you could start a podcast, like like there's so many things that you could do with that time that are better. And so that's the way that I think I had that learning curve. Like I think I made that mistake like 5 or 6 times or something, and I'm like 6 mistakes is my cap. Like I'm like never again. But it's really, really annoying when you get that gut feeling and then you see it go wrong, and it's so much more painful later. So like that's something, like hiring the clients that you are just like respecting you. Like it's about the product too. Like if they have a bad product or something, like that's easier to tell, and be like, oh yeah, like that's not exciting for us to work on, like that's not gonna work. But like if it's a client that's like, I'll pay you a lot of money, I'm just like the worst. Like I'm really mean or something. Like then you're like, oh, that's a bit tempting. Like I guess like it is a business, it's a job at the end of the day. Like it's a job. I heard that those are supposed to be like negative. Like people complain about jobs all the time. So maybe I should suck it up and work for this guy for cash. But then it's like, no, don't do that.
Not
like
worth your soul.
No,
it's like your dream job title, but for a company that has like shit reviews. You know what I mean? And then you're just like, do I want the dream title, or do I want to work somewhere where I'm going to be treated well?
Like you have to think about your personal health and your well-being at the end of the day. And like I think the whole point of being an entrepreneur should be to create the life you want.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be to make the most money or whatever. It's like really about like, how can I create like a place that I enjoy going to work with? How can I create a lifestyle that I enjoy where like, I can thrive and be happy. So.
Totally.
Definitely.
So how did you get your first client ever in the beginning?
Yeah. So one of our first clients was my dad's engineering firm. And then another one was our mutual friend from Emily Carr real estate company. And then I think like from there it was like other friends and things like that. So really we just like, we worked for like now very, very, like thinking of it, very, very cheap, but we worked for just like us two and just barely what we needed to get. And so I felt like in the first few years we were essentially like funding our portfolio. Or the first, I guess like 8 months or so, we were like funding our portfolio and building that up. And then once we had something to show, it was much easier to, like, branding's so hard to talk about and to show the value of, because people think it's just a logo and a color scheme, but it's so much more than that. It's really about like, your whole business strategy, like what's going to inform like all of the choices you make, like in terms of hiring internally and your external marketing and everything. So I can't remember where I was going with that. What was it? I don't know. What was your question?
Oh, how you got your first few clients?
Oh yeah. So then when we had that portfolio in place, then we were able to go like, look, this is the results. Yeah. Like it's much more visible and you can see it, but like there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes and the visible. So, but it still helps to be like, here is what we were doing, and then we got more clients from there. So then we were able to like just eventually slowly show that we were getting results, and then like build up from there and got more clients from like referrals or things like that, and then also my efforts in like networking and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And if there's anything, if you had the chance to do over, would you do anything differently?
It's hard to think that way, but I guess like definitely like accounting. I would really nail that down at the beginning, because it's just like hard to not have that in place. And then I think I would just hope to make decisions a little bit faster. I feel like, or like just follow your gut. Like if somebody on your team isn't working out, like you can tell really quickly and you get that feeling, and I wish that I could have like reacted on that sooner. I think also thinking, actually something that would be really helpful for people is like thinking of your business in terms of like working on your business and not in your business. So thinking about the structures and the systems you're putting in place and how you're going to like expand in the future, and like what you're seeing that could make things more efficient, or efficiencies that are lacking, and areas that could be improved, and like thinking of your business as like a thing or an entity rather than working in it and doing the work. Like I think you have to do the work at the beginning. I think always like thinking in that way, like, oh, where's my next move? Or like, when, I hate doing this, so, or I'm not good at doing this and someone else is, so like I bring someone in there, or like things like that. So that would really, that mindset I think could have been brought to the table a lot earlier in our business. But
well, that's a good tip. That's very good advice.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're going to go on into the second part of the podcast where we have a bit more fun. So all the business questions are over. We're going to do some more fun random ones just to know your personality a bit. Okay. So first one is, if the prize for breaking a world record was $1 million, what world record would you attempt?
Oh my gosh. So like, am I supposed to pick something that's easy? Because then I would
easy for you, I guess, but hard for everyone else.
The world record for... Oh my gosh.
This is a hard one.
This is so hard. The world record for running to catch a bus in really tall heels.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if that's a world record, and I don't think I could like run the fastest, but I just feel like that's an impressive thing I do a lot.
Fair, that's fair. Respect.
Joke after the bus, like, wait.
And people was like, oh, she didn't break her ankle. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Random question number 2. What are 3 beauty products that you cannot live without?
Oh, like Kel's Midnight Facial Oil.
Ooh.
I freaking love that skincare product.
A lot of people like that.
And The Ordinary is good too. And then mascara, because I'm blonde, so you can't see my eyelashes. And I've been liking deodorant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you have a favorite brand?
I always forget about deodorant.
Yeah, like, is that counts?
It's such an essential.
It is.
I think it's an essential. Like, if you want to be a professional adult in the world.
What's a brand that you like?
Of deodorant?
Yeah. That's a random question.
I like Mitchum.
Oh, I've never tried that.
I've never tried that.
Degree.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
sure that
Degree's
there's like the thing is actually deodorant. There's a lot of really cool local brands that are like free of parabens and stuff like that.
I'm into that.
We should do that. Now that I never think about deodorant. I just brought it up because I was like not thinking of anything, but like that. Yeah, there's probably so many like much better deodorants.
Totally. Yeah, I've been using this like lavender natural one, and I really like it.
Oh, where do you get it?
From Winners or something. I think Winners.
Show me. I want that.
I'll bring it next
love
time.
lavender.
I love it. Fancy upper deodorant.
Yeah.
I know you can make your own deodorant.
I've heard of that
like
too.
Something you make a
I don't
paste.
trust it.
Yeah.
It just like melts in your shirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
This conversation turned ugly.
Yeah.
Ladies are gross.
Okay, third random question. What would be the funniest thing to fill a piñata with?
Oh my gosh. The funniest thing.
Or a few funny things.
Yeah, whatever
Piñata
comes
with.
to mind. Like, what would disappoint children, I guess? Like,
Avocados.
Oh, like
It would, and it might even, no,
Okay,
just
like,
full, like not peeled. And I think that it might even hurt a little.
Oh my goodness.
When you're expecting the taste, like it would be a really, really funny and bad thing. But it wouldn't like hurt them in a way that it would actually injure them. It would just be like,
what
is
that?
I thought it was candy. Yeah, so. I don't know.
I guess it could be like, what would be the disappointing things? You're so excited and you hit it and you're like, oh, it's an avocado.
It's an avocado.
I guess you can make guacamole. That's good.
Good.
Like
So-
fruit. Those things.
Ooh.
Kids would be disappointed.
I would be
Like
so
apples.
I love apples,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, apples are good.
I eat one a day. And we do have our last section.
Okay.
It is a this or that round, lightning
Sure.
round.
Yeah.
So don't feel pressured, but we do judge just a little bit. So question number
We're all
one.
human.
What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Laundry. If you have a dishwasher. If you don't have a dishwasher, dishes.
It's very situational. Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram.
Hamburger or taco?
Taco.
Bert or Ernie?
I can't remember which one is which, but
Oh.
I think the name Ernie.
Bert is the one with the unibrow that's yellow.
Okay.
Ernie is the orange happy one with the turtleneck
With the
sweater.
football head.
I like my man with an attitude, so probably the one with the unibrow is
Bert,
angry.
Bert.
Yeah. So much tude. Heels or flats?
Heels, I think.
Cardio or yoga?
I do both, but I'd say I like yoga. Yeah.
Iced or hot coffee?
Iced.
Long or short hair?
Ugh, they're all great. I don't know. Short.
Board games or TV with a friend?
Board games.
Yeah!
I do play a lot of board games with my friends.
I love board games.
Yeah.
They're fun.
And our last one is call or text.
Call. Yeah.
Ooh,
No room for missed communications.
That's
Fair,
true.
fair.
You can
Texting
never
is
read
still
the
fun,
tone.
but-
of
Yeah,
text.
unless you know the person.
Sometimes I
Sometimes
get
it's so hard.
offended when I read it, and then I realize that they're just saying it in like the most chill way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like if you're sarcastic, like just don't do it.
Yeah.
But like I
Too
get
different.
caught doing that all the time, and then they're just like, why are you upset or something? And it's like, no. Like, no, definitely not. Yeah.
That's awesome. Alrighty, that's all the questions we had today. Thank you so much for joining us. I feel like we learned a lot about like the branding, marketing world. I think it's very helpful to our listeners.
Thanks so much for having
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah, it's such a good podcast.
Yeah,
Awesome.
awesome.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. We're gonna head out.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, Glow Babes. Give us our 5 golden stars on iTunes, and we'll be your best friends, I swear. And please share this episode with your babes that need some glow and will benefit from this. Thank you.